In a quaint village in northern France, on the morning of July 8th, 2015, two men sat side by side, their laughter filling the air inside a cosy bar. Lucien Perrault, a seasoned 69-year-old, and Olivier Boudin, a vibrant 38-year-old, defied their age difference and were inseparable. The villagers affectionately referred to them as father and son, for their bond was unbreakable. Lucien had spent his entire life toiling away in a nearby city's manufacturing industry, only retiring and moving to this serene village 4 years prior. Initially, loneliness and sadness plagued him, as he was divorced, battled alcoholism, and had endured a challenging life. However, everything changed when he crossed paths with Olivia. At that time, Olivia was also facing his own struggles, grappling with health issues that hindered his ability to work. For years he had been searching for employment, alternating between the nearby city and the village with little success. When fate brought these two men together, they found solace in their shared hardships. Lucien cherished Olivia's companionship, as he treated him not as a feeble old man, but as an equal. Thus, these unlikely best friends began intertwining their lives, creating a new sense of structure, routine, and purpose. Their days were now filled with the joy of each other's company, and their lives gained newfound meaning. As the sun rose, Olivier and Lucien found themselves at the local bar, deep in conversation about their plans for the evening. After much deliberation, they decided to have a delightful barbecue at Lucien's house. Lucien, the master of the grill, would whip up some mouth-watering beef while they enjoyed the serene ambience of his back garden patio. The excitement was palpable, so much so that even the bartender couldn't help but overhear their animated discussion. Finally, the time came for Olivier to join Lucien at his house. They made their way to the back patio, where a charming round table adorned with a red and white checkered tablecloth awaited them. The table was set with an open bottle of wine, some cheese, and a freshly baked baguette. Olivier settled into his seat, savouring the taste of the wine and bread, while Lucien skillfully manned the grill. Little did they know, their neighbour, Marie, was observing their every move from her second-floor window. Accustomed to their late-night escapades, she simply closed the window, allowing the music and laughter to fade into the background as she drifted off to sleep. Early the next morning, as the sun began to rise, Marie awoke at around 6 a.m. and peered out of her window. She wasn't particularly taken aback by what she saw. Lucien was still seated at the table, seemingly engrossed in his own thoughts, while Olivier lay sprawled on the ground, clearly passed out. Marie, being well aware of their late-night escapades, didn't pass judgment. She simply thought to herself, "It's none of my business." A few hours later, at around 9 a.m, Marie left her house to help out her neighbour by feeding their chickens while they were away for the day. As she walked past Lucien's house, she couldn't help but steal a glance at his back garden patio. To her surprise, Lucien was still seated at the table, and Olivia remained motionless on the ground. It seemed as though time had stood still for them. However, Marie reminded herself that it was none of her concern and continued on her way to her neighbour's house to fulfil her task. Upon returning to her own house around noon, Marie's curiosity got the better of her. She once again looked into Lucien's backyard and was taken aback to find that the two men had not budged an inch. Lucien remained seated at the table while Olivia lay motionless on the ground. The sun was now high in the sky, and Marie suddenly realised the potential danger they were in. Heat stroke was a real possibility if they continued to stay immobile under the scorching sun. Without hesitation, Marie knew she had to intervene. She called out to Olivier and Lucien, desperately hoping for a response, but to no avail. Marie stepped into Lucien's backyard, her heart pounding with unease. As she approached the two motionless figures, a chilling realisation washed over her. Something was terribly amiss. Without wasting a moment, Marie swiftly turned on her heels and rushed to a neighbouring house, desperate to seek help. Breathlessly, she recounted the eerie scene to her startled neighbours, who wasted no time in grabbing large pots of water. With a glimmer of hope, they dashed back to Olivier and Lucien, hoping to jolt them out of their seemingly drunken stupor. But As the water cascaded over their lifeless bodies, the men remained motionless, unresponsive to the desperate attempts to revive them. It was painfully clear that they were no longer among the living. The following day, the local prosecutor made a grim announcement. An investigation will be launched into the deaths of Lucienne and Olivia, classified as potential criminal acts. The prosecutor hinted at the possibility of a double homicide or a murder-suicide, as it appeared that both men had perished simultaneously. The prevailing theory pointed towards poison, possibly laced within their food. In a bid to uncover the truth, the police sent the canned beans consumed by the men to a renowned institution in Paris for testing. They hoped to detect the presence of a deadly toxin known as botulism, which thrives within canned foods. However, the results came back negative, leaving the authorities perplexed. Undeterred, the police dispatched samples of the remaining food to various laboratories, eager to uncover any traces of poison. But yet again, all the tests yielded negative results. It seemed as though there was nothing detectable in the food that could explain the tragic demise of the two men. Confusion hung heavy in the air, shrouding the investigation in a veil of uncertainty. However, when the autopsies finally arrived, a chilling revelation awaited the authorities, forever altering the course of the case. Lucienne and Olivia's deaths were not the result of foul play or a murder-suicide. It wasn't botulism or any poison in their food that caused their demise. Instead, it was a series of unfortunate events that led to their tragic end. Both Lucienne and Olivia had minor health issues, Lucienne with dental problems and missing teeth, and Olivia with a slightly enlarged and fragile heart condition called cardiomegaly. While their conditions were manageable, a fateful moment on July 8, 2015 changed everything. As they enjoyed a cookout in Lucienne's backyard, the combination of Lucienne's enthusiasm for devouring a plate of beef rib and his missing teeth caused him to choke on an unchewed bite. In a desperate attempt to save his friend, Olivia's stress triggered a heart attack due to his pre-existing heart condition. Sadly, he passed away right then and there. Left alone without any assistance, Lucien struggled to dislodge the beef from his throat and ultimately succumbed to asphyxiation, slumped over the table. It was a truly tragic outcome, resulting from a combination of their individual health issues and the circumstances of that ill-fated evening.